I'll tell you two quick stories about Jennifer, and then we're going to get her up here. A couple of years ago, I was invited to speak at EXP Con. That's the EXP conference. This was in probably my least favorite place on the planet, Las Vegas. They picked me, I don't know why they picked me. They picked me because they wanted someone from kind of international. And I had won some competition in South Africa, so then they flew me there. It was wonderful. I got to sit on this panel. There were 6,000 people in front of us. Then they had Dave Conord, who was at the time he was the president of the company. And then they wanted to pick one agent out of probably at the time 70,000 agents in the whole of EXP from the US and Canada who would kind of represent the agent population as the killer. And they chose Jennifer Jones. Out of 70,000 agents, they chose her. So I sat on that panel with her. That was the first time I met her. Absolutely loved her. She is so full of joy and light and life. She is a wonderful human being. Then, second story, I was at the Build conference, which is Brent Build in San Antonio last year. And at some point, it was either Gene or Brent said to the audience, again, there were sort of 3,000 or 4,000 people in the room, if you've sold more than 10 homes in a year, stand up. And then, most of the room was standing up. If you've sold 20 homes, stay standing, and a few people sat down. If you've sold 30 homes, a few people sat down. 40, 50, 60, 70, more and more people are sitting down. He got to 100 homes. If you've sold 100 homes in a year, stay standing. 4,000, 3,000 people, 2 people were standing. Jennifer, who was right in the front row, I saw her and I looked back. There was some guy way in the bleachers. I think he was selling developments, which is what gave him his volume. So Jennifer, again, standing out of 4,000 agents, sold 100 homes. She's got a team of 50 agents that she leads, just of her own Jennifer Jones team. They do 250 transactions a year. She is an absolute machine. And we are so grateful to have her here. So Jennifer, where are you? Are you somewhere near? Are you coming up from the back? Give Jennifer, please stand to your feet and give her a warm Cape Town welcome. Jennifer Jones, everybody. Yeah.
How's it? You're probably wondering what I'm doing with all these things here, right? Like a woman, where just more and more things keep coming out of your purse? No? So actually, yes, it was an incredible experience meeting Stephen. And when we heard that he was running another build and asked, hey, do you want to come out and speak? Absolutely. And that's because of our love and respect for Stephen. So just wanted to say thank you, Stephen, and South Africa for having us. I feel like you're a lot like Canadians, right? Am I wrong? I feel like you are. One of the things I learned prior to coming out here, reading about the culture, was that if I went to one of your homes and I repeatedly said, I like something that you have, you feel obligated to give it to me. So I'm looking for a new SUV. Who has a Range Rover? White. Newer model. Okay, so we're going to do a little exercise right now, and exactly the exercise that Stephen was talking about, just to get a sense of who's actually in the room. So everyone stand up. Everybody up. Awesome. Okay. Now, if you've sold under 5 homes, sit down. You're amazing. You're awesome. You're incredible. If you've sold under 15 homes, sit down. Amazing. If you sold under 30 homes, sit down. Wow. Under 40. Under 50? Under 60. Under 80. Under 90. Good Lord. Okay, so what we're gonna do, it's Valentine's Day, and you'll notice real estate is a stressful business. Anyone? A little stressful? So today we're going to give out stress balls, and Sheila gets the first one. Okay? Here we go. Amazing. All right, so as I go through the presentation, if I ask a question and you answer, you get a stress ball, right? It's a fun game. All right, so here we go. So that's me. I have a USB that my marketing department put together, so good, where you can follow us and get more information. We give everything for free. So we have listing packages, buyer packages, you name it, we got it, and we're happy to share, always. Okay, so third year of real estate, made 1.1 million, 25,000 gross commission income, and that was on my own. So that's the point where I could no longer service the clients at that high level, and I had to start a team. And that's what you're going to find, right? Is that even if you look all over North America, kind of spreading into the world, there's a lot of teams. People like to be together. People like to work together. Who likes to work with other people? Put your hand up if you, see, this is so good. So even the groups of you can get together and start teams together, right? And the neat thing is we are stronger together. We accomplish more together. Okay, so we had the award last year as a team for making 5.6 million gross commission income. Okay, we were only, I think, 28 agents at that point, and now we've grown to 50. So my commitment for this year is to grow that team to 100. And the cool thing is that as you grow a team, you actually grow your revenue share group as well. So super cool. All right, so we sit number 7 on the Toronto Real Estate Board. That's out of 75,000 realtors. And we are moving up the ranks. So who am I? Where did I come from? I am the daughter of immigrant parents. So mom came from Germany into Canada. Dad came from Britain, 5 kids, right? Kind of spreading out the means amongst us. Who else comes from a family of a lot of kids? Put your hand up. Okay, and I'm remembering who you are because you're gonna get these nice squishy balls. Okay, so I told my mom in grade 5 when she told me I did something probably bad or wrong. I was the black sheep. Anybody else a black sheep in your family? Right. Always pushing the envelope, right? Didn't always do as you were told. So I told my mom I didn't want to have a normal life. And I did a good job of creating exactly that. So at 21 years old, I'm going to university part-time. I'm running a riding school. I was teaching riding lessons. And I didn't have my own plan, so I became part of someone else's, right? I met someone who was 7 years older, a police officer. There's a lot of amazing police officers, so please, no judgment here. My house became part of a crime scene when I was 22 years old. There were forensics coming and pulling bullet holes out of the wall as my partner attempted to murder me. I didn't know that I was a real problem until someone attempted to do that, okay? So out of fear, I fled and literally flew to Australia and lived there for 18 months, protecting myself and thereby protecting my family. These are all poor decisions, and this is what I'm trying to show you. It is not an easy journey of life is easy for everyone. We all go through different things, you know. And by the way, who here was little and said, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a real estate agent? Is there anybody? Even one? There's one in the back of the, two? Holy smokes. Is that it? Just two? You back there? No? Wow, okay. So at this point, I'm on the plane, I'm flying out to Australia, and I'm thinking, life's too scary. There's lots of scary stuff that has happened to me growing up. I'm brave, I do all these crazy things, and then I get myself into trouble. So I prayed. I wish someone would come along and just take care of me. It's just too hard. It's just too hard. Be careful what you wish for. Has anyone else done this? Wish for something and then got exactly what it is that you wanted. So, met a partner now 18 years older. So we get together, very successful person, learned amazing things from him, and I lived in a golden cage, is what I call it. I was like the bird inside the golden cage. So the one thing that I got out of this that was so amazing was my daughter. And the second amazing thing was that I discovered, because I was buying horses, retraining, reselling, I was actually really good at this. I could sell over the phone to people in the US, and they would just buy it. I would say, big, amazing, incredible horse, seat 6, super comfy, right? And they would pay like $5,000. It was just crazy. So left my marriage at 33 years old after 10 years and declared I would make $1 million myself, right? This was like, I must take care of myself. Who has said that at some point to yourself, right? You get to a place you're like, I need to make decisions based on what is best for me and never make decisions based on what I need from someone else, okay? So, 33 years old, I leave, I'm in horse racing. Because what's better excitement than real estate is horse racing, guys. It's like the adrenaline and the excitement and the feeling of vomit, coming up into your mouth as the horse is coming down the racetrack, right? I went on incredible trips, actually, to Dubai. We were invited out to Sheikh Mohammed's private island and watched the Dubai Cup. I was not in a relationship with him, I would like everyone to know. And then, after 5 years of manifesting and praying to God and being very clear on what I wanted in a partner, I met Mr. Magic. And that's my husband sitting in the second row there. But you can see, even in the bottom there's a book that says, Jennifer Jones won't leave me alone. And I didn't. I pursued him with a vengeance until I nailed him down. And we went through stuff, even last year or 2 years ago. Keith went through, like Ashley, aggressive cancer treatment. And being with EXP gave us that leverage and the ability for me to actually be able to take care of Keith. If I had been in simply the traditional team model that I'd set out in the beginning, I would not be in the same situation. So I'm very grateful to EXP. And I'm blessed. I'm not going to cry because I already cried when Ashley did her speech. We're not crying anymore today, right? All right, so this is my new chapter. When Keith and I were together, we were buying properties, renovating, reselling, and we came to the conclusion that it was silly for us to be doing all this work and then allowing a realtor to sell the property, right? Anyone else been there? Put your hand up. Anyone come from a place of being in construction or renovation and getting into it? Thank you. Okay. So, the question is, and we've spent some time over the past couple days really digging in and working to figure out, okay, what would work in South Africa that we're doing or that we have done already in Canada specifically, okay? So, something that I did, and if you're in an estate property, this is not going to be possible. For those of you that are not, we would put a just listed sign on the lawn. Anyone able to do that? So it looks like a for sale sign, but it says just listed. Do people read anything closely? No, they don't, right? So they'll end up calling that sign. And then what we would do is have parties at our home. Keith loves it. And we would invite all the neighbors over and not talk about real estate. Because when you ask someone, what do you do for a living? What do they do? Right? Yeah, they ask the same thing back. What do you do for a living? So that's your opportunity to give your 60-second elevator pitch. So you need a unique value proposition. And so for me at that time, it was we look at a client's property, we figure out what we can do to it. Maybe it's some painting, maybe it's a little bit of reno, whatever it is. We look at it, figure out what we're going to need to do to help the client net more money, right? And in back in the day, we would go in, I might be painting the whole place, no joke. We were probably steam cleaning carpets. We were taking staging things out of our own home and putting it in their home in the beginning, okay? So you have to be like, I don't care what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get this done. So the number one thing, figure out your value proposition. And then by having the neighbors over and chatting with them, then we would have the ability to say, okay, if you were going to sell, right, what would the number be? Because most people have a number that if there was a certain amount of money offered, they would sell. So I would keep those as pocket listings, and then when someone called off my just listed sign, right, then I would offer up these other properties that they could go through. So you're looking for leverage. Now, the other thing we did was free coffee events. You have coffee shops here. We've popped into them, right? So what you do is go to the local coffee shop and say, listen, I'm going to spend, let's say, $200. I don't know what that is in rand. It's a lot, right? Maybe it's a smaller amount. And you have postcards made, and what you do is say, free home evaluation on the back, and as people go in and they're getting their coffee and going up to the cash, they're given a postcard, okay? Because we believe in the law of reciprocity. Does everyone know what law of reciprocity means? Right? So you give first without expectation of return, and then people feel that desire to also serve you, right? And this is in everything we do. Even with our listing presentations we go out to, we have a listing bag. So it's a booklet of information. It's also usually a local branded hot sauce in our team name, or honey. So you've got to come up with other things, okay? The other big things we do are serving and promoting local business. So who's doing that? Who's going around and doing videos? Put your hand up if you're amazing. This is great. This is something you should see a lot more of in this room, right? You need to be going around and promoting local business and then putting that out on social media, right? Again, law of reciprocity. Okay. Open houses by the dozen. And I know, again, if it's an estate property, this is not something you can do. We talked about upstairs, even potentially doing a Facebook or a TikTok or an Instagram live. Maybe it's a closed, open house or show home event. And you're in a situation where you have a sign-up list, right? So different things you can do that way. The other two big things that I've used from the beginning have been NLP, Neuro-Linguistics Programming. Does anyone know what that is? Okay, DISC Profile. Who's using DISC Profile? Amazing. So these are 4 distinct personality types of most human beings. I say most because I'm not sure everyone's a human being. Okay, and our big thing is visualization. So we have literally done hundreds of events. That's actually a picture of our team office. So you don't need a physical office. Who here has an office? Okay, so we've got a couple people. You don't need this. None of our agents actually go into this building. The only reason we still have it is we own it, and we have a couple tenants as well. So it literally just stores signs, okay? And our administrators work there. Okay. So this is our client and agent seminars. This is an example of all of the crazy stuff we do over a year. So you can see we do events called Collaborate. We did the first EXP Toronto Rally for Canada. These are our client events. This is Thanksgiving pie giveaway. You guys have Thanksgiving, of course. So who gives away pies for Thanksgiving? Come on, nobody, put your hand up. Do you give pies away for Thanksgiving? Okay, and then what you do is you say to your clients, if you come out and you can build a relationship with a local farm or a local shop, and then say, listen, if you bring a can of whipped cream, right? Or if you give us a referral, we'll give you a can of whipped cream. So it's like you want to be really engaged with your clients. These are our monthly team meetings as well. We do those in person. And you have the ability to do that. Just go hit a coffee shop, with your team members or your organization. Okay. So this is the biggest thing. So what I used to do, and what I believe which led to my high level of success quickly in the business, was visualization, right? And believing. So who here is usually using visualization? Put your hand up if you use a lot of this. So it could be prayer, but you have to be able to close your eyes and see the outcome. Who is doing that? It's only a couple of people really, right? Okay. So the brain can't determine the difference between what is real and what is imagined, right? And how do we know that? So everyone close your eyes for 1 second. 5 seconds, I'm lying. So just close your eyes. And now I want you to imagine something that you find incredibly sour. Okay, maybe it's a lemon, maybe it's hot sauce. And think about it for a second. And I want you to notice what's happening in your body as you're thinking about this, right? Maybe you're noticing the sound as you slice through the lemon. Okay, open your eyes. So what do you notice by doing that? You're getting that physical sensation in your body, right? Your mouth's watering, right? It'd be like watching a really scary movie. What happens when you watch a scary movie? Your hands sweat, right? Your heart starts to beat really fast because it can't tell the difference. So what I used to do was actually drive the waterfront. We lived in a waterfront area. I moved up there, new agent, 3 dominant area agents who'd been there a long time. So our waterfront to drive it was half an hour one way, half an hour the back. So I would drink Tim Hortons coffee, which is a Canadian thing, at 6 o'clock in the morning and drive the lake. I'd go to the other end and then turn around and come back. And what I would do is say, I'm so grateful all these buyers and sellers are mine. I'm so grateful all these buyers and sellers are mine. And the next year you drove along that waterfront, almost every single listing was mine, right? So it's about, anyone can do this. It's about getting up every single day and saying, how can I serve, right? So how am I going to serve these people? Who is being sent to me that I am meant to work with and meant to help them move forward in whatever way that needs to be done? And sometimes it's not even about selling that property, right? Like we heard earlier, it sounds like Johannesburg, you'd be, even if you purchased within the past 10 years, your property value would not be high enough to sell it. So would you go in there and tell a story just to get the listing to try to generate business? Or do you have the integrity to do what's right for the client and maybe look at some other solutions, right? Okay, so what is disc profile and how do we use this? Why is it important? Well, if you're going into a listing appointment, right, and you're going to go there and you're going to present information to someone, If they're a high D profile, so what would that mean? Someone shout it out. What's a trait of someone who's a high D? A which? Dominant. Yeah, dominant. Thank you. So this would be a dominant person. So this is typically your CEO, your entrepreneur. There's a lot of realtors who are D, right? So if I'm going to go in and I'm going to present information to a D, but I'm an I who's very social, outgoing, and likes to talk all the time, and I don't pay attention, what's going to happen? Yeah, like I'm done. Because I'm not paying attention to the fact that this is not what the client wants. The client wants me to get to the point. They're not interested in high detail like my C. They're not interested in me sitting and building relationship and making them safe like they're an S. So we actually look them up on LinkedIn, or we'll look them up in some other form of social media to see who it is that we're meeting with prior to going out. You need to cater your style of presentation to the client. The next one is this. So NLP, I gave it away, Neuro-Linguistics Programming. So this is a tool that most people, if you learn it, will be an incredible tool for doing more business. Now, there are ways, even if you go onto YouTube, you can look up NLP for sales, and you'll be able to see that there's all these incredible ways of connecting with people for fast rapport, okay? Because people work with people who are like themselves, right? Or who they aspire to be. So they're gonna work with people they trust, right? So the idea is here, we wanna know how they process information so we don't. So when we're presenting something to them, we're sure that they're really getting it. So an example of this would be, okay, if they look up, they're visual. Okay, so this means they process information visually. If they look to the side when I've asked them a question to recall info, it means they're auditory. Okay? If they look down, they're kinesthetic. So they need to touch, see, or touch and feel something, right? Now, where does this come into play? Well, if I'm going to go present an offer to someone, okay, and the way that they process information is visually, but I'm trying to have a conversation with them over the phone, are they understanding most of what I'm saying? Probably not. You're probably getting like 50%. So we've had a situation where, you know, we're working with two clients. They were going through a divorce, didn't want to meet in person. We're doing it all through the phone. We relay the information from an offer over the phone. We'd emailed it as well. And a week later, after the client turned it down, they said, we said something, and they said, oh, you didn't say that. And the truth was, they didn't hear it. We said it. It was another agent on the call. They didn't hear it because they're visual people. So we ended up realizing we have DNA on this. You need to do a better job. So how can you tell, right? So what you do is you, through the course of your regular questions with the clients, you can ask them, how old is your roof? How old are the windows? How old is the home? And as they recall information, watch where their eyes look. You can do this with your partner at home later, and then you'll figure out where all the misunderstandings happened in the first place, right? Okay. So this is a big thing. Everyone's focused on social media, particularly in the US and North America, right? But here, so who spends time on social media every single day? Right? Which is great. There's so many things that you can use this for. And even I went out to the Russell Brunson ClickFunnels training. That's a marketing training. It was in Orlando, Florida in September. And one of the big things that he talks about is how to build your brand. So this means for even agent attraction or for wanting to work with clients, you need to post every single day. So one YouTube short and one Instagram story, right? And you provide something of value. You hold nothing back in terms of your information, right? And once people have consumed 7.5 hours of your content, they actually feel they know and trust you. And that's how you get people coming to you. So what's been fascinating is since I've actually been doing that exercise, we've had agents coming to us by the droves to join in to our organization. Okay, so just a tip for you there. So the big thing is when we're bombarded by brands and people are getting so much thrown at them constantly, right? So, but what they're really looking for is a leader. They want a leader. They want someone to lead them. They want your story, and that can be for a seller, for a buyer, for someone looking to join into your organization. You have to sell the dream and then actually show up and do what you say you were going to do and help them. So this is just an example of how human beings work. So everyone raise your right hand. Okay, now raise it a little higher. So the interesting thing is, you can put your hands down. You'll notice you had a little bit left, right? That's human nature. Human nature is to hold back a little bit. That's the way we're conditioned from when we're very small. We're conditioned not to, stand out, not to put your full self out there. You want to fit in. You want to be kept quiet, right? So I think the important thing first to really succeed in real estate is breaking that mold. You have to be willing to just be your authentic self. Like, who are you really, right? And when you show up like that, you'll find that more clients will resonate with you. More people are going to want to work with you. And that's essentially what it is. All these disconnected people out there, they are looking for their leader. They're looking for you. They're looking for the weird, strange, interesting you that is different than everybody else. So you're not looking to attract everyone as clients. You're not looking to attract everyone into your organization. You're looking to attract your people. And that is the message. Go and find your people. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.